New overnight, Madison police assist Maple Bluff in what appears to be a car chase ending on Madison's east side. The details as they develop.
Plus, conditions stay summer-like, but not for long. The fall weather is coming. I'll talk about when coming up.
And National Guard troops are heading to Chicago. Why the president is insisting. Well, good Sunday morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn, and you're watching Weekend Mornings. Today is October 5th. We begin this morning with developing news overnight. Madison police say they were called to assist a Maple Bluff traffic stop resulting in a car chase. Starting on Lakewood Boulevard in Sherman, ending with multiple agencies responding to Madison's east side. This happened just after 11 last night in the Sherman Terrace neighborhood, just east of Tenney Park, where the chase ended. You can see the damaged SUV stuck on a curb in the Fordham Avenue Strip Mall parking lot that borders the neighborhood. Maple Bluff, Shorewood Hills, and Waunakee police officers, as well as Wisconsin state troopers, were on scene. Several law enforcement officers, 2 drones, and a police canine searched the area. The SUV was towed from the scene, and it was clear around midnight. Madison police confirmed there is no threat to the public. Let's check in now with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. He's live from our studio in Madison. How are our temperatures looking?
Well, temperatures right now very mild compared to where we're supposed to be during the morning for this time of the year. We're mostly in the 60s across the area. Now, the temperature did just drop to 64 for Madison, but a moment ago it was the low for this morning was 65, which was exactly where the high temperature is supposed to be for this time of the year, but it's in the form of low temperatures. Now, today we're going to see those highs back in the 80s. On top of that, we also are going to see some windy conditions. We'll see gusts up around 30 miles per hour at times. Going to help actually bring in some warmer air. But the winds are also going to lead to some fire risk today. There is a high fire risk in southwest Wisconsin, moderate for most of the rest of the state. But the good news is that this fire risk is going to completely turn to zero fire risk once we get to Monday. Now, again, today is still going to be very summer-like. We're going to have those highs in the lower 80s. Plenty of sunshine, breezy conditions as well. La Crosse will have a very similar forecast, but if you notice a little bit of cloud cover later in the day in La Crosse, that's going to lead to some rain along a cold front tonight, and that is going to be what cools the temperatures down. So I'll talk more about that dramatic temperature swing coming up a bit later.
Thanks, Jacob. We'll be checking in shortly. Closer to home, President Donald Trump authorized the deployment of 300 National Guard troops to Chicago. The Guard members' primary mission is to protect federal officers and property in Chicago. Trump's decision comes after protesters gathered at an immigration and customs enforcement facility Friday. Clashes between protesters and federal agents continuing into Saturday night. Agents were seen pinning down some protesters. That demonstration led to more than a dozen arrests. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said the Defense Department gave him an ultimatum Saturday. Either he authorized the deployment of National Guard troops or the federal government will do it. Pritzker called the Trump administration's actions outrageous and un-American. The Department of Homeland Security says a team of ICE agents were boxed in by a group of vehicles yesterday in Chicago, including one driven by a U.S. citizen who officials say had a semi-automatic weapon. The Department of Homeland Security says agents fired defensive shots at the U.S. citizen. She drove herself to the hospital, per DHS. No law enforcement was seriously injured. DHS is accusing the local police department of refusing to help federal officials secure the area. Now to more local news. Housing is one of the most significant issues for people living in Madison and Dane County. This morning, we're sharing Maddie Heimsch's special report from this week showing the gap in housing services, solutions running dry, and what it means for those with nowhere else to turn.
I'm not going to be homeless too long. You know what I'm saying? It's just for a season.
Jaytona Lockhart is living on the streets of Madison.
I work my way into places, so you know what I'm saying? I work myself into getting to some resources to help me find some houses.
He and others facing housing insecurity watch as the Dairy Drive tiny homes and the Veterans Museum homeless encampment are shut down, and the permanent men's shelter on the east side is being built, all changing the landscape of homelessness in the community and highlighting a growing problem.
We have teams of providers that go out and count people who are staying in places not meant for human habitation.
The Homeless Services Consortium of Dane County does an annual count. This January, providers identified 790 people experiencing homelessness.
We know that it's an undercount because We can't find everyone.
With the exception of 2021, that's the highest number in 10 years.
Our point-in-time count has been increasing.
According to Tori Kopp-Mueller, the consortium's care coordinator, the count has been increasing because funds are expiring.
During COVID, we saw a huge influx of resources, and our numbers went down. We had a lot of money to prevent homelessness so people could stay in their homes. And then we also had a lot of money to help people exit homelessness.
When the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, was adopted by Congress in 2021,
Motion is adopted.
Dane County got $106 million. $30 million of that went to housing-related services in the form of eviction prevention, hotel sheltering, the tiny home project, and shelter operations.
It was millions and millions of dollars that came to the city and the county to support people to remain in their homes.
But all those funds had to be allocated by the end of 2024 and must be spent by the end of 2026.
Those funds are ending.
They cutting a lot of stuff, so you know it's very hard for you to kind of it's tight on the money right now and a lot of resources.
So beyond that, what's left? We went to County Executive Melissa Eggard to find out.
We invest an awful lot of dollars and staff in ensuring that we are out there trying to meet the needs of folks in our community.
According to Dane County Human Services, the county provides $5.2 million in housing and homeless services, and the federal government $6.6 million. All other sources provide less than $2 million a year. So without that $30 million in ARPA funds, the county has just around $15 million to address homelessness. That's comparable to counties of similar population in the Midwest.
Can we do more? Our hope is that we can, but we have the challenges of mandates from the state and federal government, as well as a limited amount of resources that we can invest in this.
But Kopp-Mueller says those resources aren't enough.
It is just a tiny amount of what the actual need is.
And aren't guaranteed.
Oftentimes, you're going to get more money if your numbers are going down because you're showing that you're being successful in your work.
So what will it take to be successful? She says it'll take money that's simply not there. Meaning for Lockhart and others facing housing insecurity, the road to residency continues to be an uphill battle.
It's not easy day to day.
We just need everyone, city, county, state, and federal, to be really committed to preventing and ending homelessness and providing the resources to do that.
Reporting in Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you. If you'd like to get involved with the Homeless Services Consortium of Dane County, you can visit the advocacy page on their website at danecountyhomeless.org. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Dane County public health officials are highlighting the importance that every woman in Wisconsin has access to screenings. In the U.S., 1 in 8 women will develop the disease. In Dane County, about 425 women receive a diagnosis each year. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force says most women should start getting mammograms at 40. And while health insurance covers the screening for many women, some people skip it because they can't afford it. If you're still looking for a place to get screened within your budget, check out the Wisconsin Well program. It helps women with little or no health insurance get screened for free. You can find more about the program on dhs.wisconsin.gov. Happening today, Madison Contemporary Dance and the Hitters Collective are putting on their annual Creative Movement Dance Concerts. That highlights the abilities of dancers from across the community. Event organizers hope the performances will let the audiences witness that power of connection through dance. This weekend's concerts feature dancers ages 7 and up. Each performance unites studio-trained dances like ballet and modern with street-style dances like hip-hop and krump to create innovative new works. CEO of Hitters Collective, Papa Cabino Brewu, is an artistic director for the concerts. He says they bridge more than just different dance styles.
All this came to be with just the idea of just bridging cultures, bridging communities, and offering an opportunity for individuals in the community to be able to express themselves through dance and movement, and then being able to pass it down to the youth as well.
You still have a couple of chances to catch the concert. There are 2 performances today at the Madison Youth Arts Center. If you're interested, tickets are about $18 online at madisoncontemporarydance.com. Still ahead on weekend mornings, we'll tell you what quick trip changes will soon affect your pocketbook.
Plus, I'll have a full look at that big temperature swing coming up after the break. Welcome back. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We're going to see more summer-like conditions today, but then the showers will move in tonight along a cold front, leading to much cooler temperatures once we get to Monday. Now, let's start with that rainfall forecast. We're not going to see any rain during the day, especially for southern Wisconsin. A little bit later in the day with some clouds, and those showers will begin moving in to areas further northwest, especially closer to La Crosse and Eau Claire. And then after sunset, it's going to really move into our region, bringing in plenty of showers and a few isolated thunderstorms. Not really seeing any chance of severe weather, but these showers and isolated storms will continue to push off to the east. Best chance of rain tonight will be for areas to the north and areas to the west of Madison. Further southeast, the rain is a little bit less likely, but you can see based on the wind direction from the arrows, this is the cold front right here, and once it moves through, it's going to feel a lot cooler once we get to tomorrow. Now, as we continue with the rainfall forecast, still going to see those showers during the morning, but then by the late morning and afternoon, the rain will be a little bit more isolated. Still could see some rain at any point during the day, but then more consistent rain is expected to move back into the area for Monday night. This time, the best chance of rain will be for areas to the south and east of Madison, and then this is going to clear out once we get to Tuesday morning. Now, looking at that temperature swing, highs for today are going to be in the lower 80s with plenty of sunshine. Now, overnight lows for Madison are going to be around 60, which is where we are right now, but then they're not really going to rise much once we get to the afternoon. Highs are going to be in the 60s for much of the area. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's not going to be a big change from right now, unless you're in La Crosse where it could drop into the 50s. But the afternoon tomorrow will be significantly cooler than the afternoon today. And going forward, we're going to continue to see those high temperatures in the 60s for much of the week. 70s could return over the weekend, but still a lot cooler compared to the 80s today and the 80s that we have seen. So here's a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. Plenty of sunshine after that rain clears out. Again, still could see some rain Monday night, but that looks like that'll be the last chance of rain. Maybe some light showers Friday, but then we'll see more rain towards the end of the 10-day forecast, which will cause the temperatures to drop again after we see those 70s over the weekend.
Wow. I'm not ready for it.
Yeah, it's going to be noticeable. And I almost forgot, here's Madison's forecast. Very similar to La Crosse, though. But yeah, those showers are going to significantly change things around here, and it's certainly going to feel like fall.
Well, I'm holding on to the last day of summer.
I'm ready to push it aside. I'm done with summer.
I know you are. Thank you. Well, changes are coming to how you pay at Quick Trip. The gas station chain announces it will begin rounding down cash purchases to the nearest 5 cents. It's an attempt to go penny-free. This comes after the U.S. Department of Treasury's decision to end the production of the penny. Quick Trip says stores are, quote, running out of pennies by location. Digital and card transactions will remain unaffected, so if you're swiping your card, you're paying down to the cent. And some memories are unforgettable, and some will now come with a cost. Snapchat is asking its top users to pay a monthly fee to retain their memories, a feature launched in 2016 with over 1 trillion memories. Saved users exceeding 5 gigabytes will face charges. Snapchat's parent company cites infrastructure costs as the reason. With 460 million daily users, this move could significantly impact the platform's financial model. And no one sent me a song, so now you guys have homework on a Sunday. Send me your weekend playlist pick. You can do that on Facebook or email Mr. Quinn at WISC-TV.com. Add playlist pick to the subject line and tune in on weekend mornings to hear your song. You've got a full commercial break, so take out that phone and send it to me. We're back right after this.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. Looking ahead to next weekend, young hunters, get ready. The DNR's annual Youth Deer Hunt is just around the corner, happening October 11th and 12th. That's next weekend. Now, this is an opportunity for those 15 and younger to learn hunting skills and connect with nature before the main 9-day gun season. No hunter education certification is needed, but an adult mentor must supervise. Safety is key. Follow the Tab K rules and wear blaze orange. New hunters can celebrate their first harvest by applying online for a certificate. Let's check in now with Jacob Montesano. First freeze dates. Already?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to see it right now, but the reason I'm talking about it is because this is roughly the time of the year where we start to see potentially the first freeze, at least for Madison. Here's a look at the last 5 years, middle October for the most part, and we're going to be getting into the middle of October very shortly. Now, on average, we see our first freeze on October 11th, the earliest September 12th, the latest November 12th, and we're probably going to be a little bit late this year. Now, the reason I say that is because here's the 10-day forecast. October 11th is Saturday. We could see some areas get to that freezing level for Tuesday and Monday night, as those temperatures could drop into the 30s, but I still expect to see those temperatures get, stay above freezing, which is 32 degrees. And then we're going to warm up, at least the overnight lows will certainly warm up as we get towards the end of the 10-day forecast. And then by that point, we'll be after October 11th. But overall, you know, the temperatures next week certainly going to be more seasonable. And for the most part, it's going to feel like fall, and I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about that. I mean, I certainly am. I know a lot of people have been, you know, not too thrilled about the summer-like
Chris
weather.
Stanford is definitely happy about that. He's with you.
And it's certainly going to feel like that with these overnight lows a little bit later in the week.
Well, you know what? Like I said earlier, I'm hanging on to the last slice of summer. You got plans today?
No.
You know, you're hiding
inside.
from the last temperature.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, we could not forget today's motivation. And Jacob chose this quote this morning from Fred Rogers.
The toughest thing is to love somebody who has done something mean to you, especially when that somebody is yourself. Look inside yourself and find that loving part of you. And then the quote actually continues to say, take good care of that part because it helps you love your neighbor. Now, the reason I picked this quote, spoiler alert, my wife loves the quote, and the reason I picked it is because a lot of people always, you know, focus on the negativity that like kind of other people bring into their life, but there's also a lot of negativity that you yourself bring to your life. But it's okay to just, you know, relax. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Everyone makes mistakes. We're not perfect. And I think that's a good lesson that a lot of people should learn.
Don't forget that, guys. You're not perfect. You make mistakes, and that's okay.
Exactly.
Just give yourself a little bit of grace and a little bit of love.
And perfect. You said it best.
Before we head to break, here's a look at your gas prices. Keep it here. We're running through your top local stories and sharing the Brewers highlights next. This morning, new details after gunshots struck a home on Madison's east side.
Plus, we're going to see one more day of these summer-like temperatures before a big change comes. I'll have the forecast coming up.
And Brewers fans, get loud. We're celebrating a big win over the Cubs, taking you to AmFam and showing you the highlights. Happy Sunday morning, and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm your Weekend Morning anchor, Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm meteorologist Jacob Montesano. You're watching Weekend Mornings on Sunday, October 5th. As you mentioned, big Brewers win. I was in attendance, and they
how'd that loss feel for you, Cubs fan?
You know, I wish it was a little closer, but I kind of was I did predict yesterday the Brewers were going to win. So hoping for a little closer game, though. Now, what I was going to say is that they had the roof open, and it was hot. And thankfully, where I was sitting was mostly in the shade, and I was like kind of higher up in right field, yes. And when you look at across the stands in left field, they were in the sun for a lot of the game, and I felt for them. But yeah, definitely very hot yesterday, and we're going to see more of those warm temperatures today. Now let's start by taking a look outside. This is a view from Platteville showing a lot of clear skies, a few clouds here and there, but temperatures still in the 60s compared pretty similar to this time yesterday morning as well. 60s for the most part, a few 50s out there, but we are certainly mild this morning, and although the low temperature now is 64 in Madison, that is very close to the normal high for this time of the year. Now, if we had stayed at 65, that could have been very, very wild to see the low temperature today be exactly the same as the normal high, I should say. But we did drop a little bit, but still very close to that level. Now, across the board, it's going to be another warm day. Not quite as warm as yesterday, but still going to pretty easily get into the 80s. Plenty of sunshine, also some breezy weather as well. La Crosse will see similar conditions, although you can notice a little bit later in the day, we are going to see a little bit of clouds kind of rolling into La Crosse. That's going to lead to some showers along with cold fronts that will really cool the temperatures down. So I'll talk more about that and the chance of rain coming up a bit later.
Jacob, thank you. We'll be checking in shortly. We begin this morning with developing news overnight. Madison police say they were called to assist a Maple Bluff traffic stop resulting in a car chase. Starting on Lakewood Boulevard in Sherman, ending with multiple agencies responding to Madison's east side. This happened just after 11 last night in the Sherman Terrace neighborhood, just east of Tenney Park, where the chase ended. Now you can see a damaged SUV truck on a curb in the Fordham Avenue Strip Mall parking lot bordering the neighborhood. Maple Bluff, Shorewood Hills, and Waunakee police officers, as well as Wisconsin state troopers, were on the scene. Several law enforcement officers, 2 drones, and a police canine searched the area. The SUV was towed from the scene, and it was cleared around midnight. Madison police confirm there is no threat to the public. In developing news this morning, a teenager is recovering after being shot during what police call a large fight in downtown Madison. Officers responded to a call of someone bleeding on Langdon Street near the Delta Chi sorority house late Friday night. They say multiple suspects ran from the scene. An 18-year-old victim was taken to a local hospital where they were treated and released. Meanwhile, an 18-year-old suspect was taken into custody with the assistance of the UWPD. The investigation is ongoing. Madison police are also investigating after a resident was awoken by gunshots last night on Madison's east side. Police say the resident discovered a bullet struck his house. Nobody inside the home was injured, and no arrests have been made so far. This happened just before midnight in the 3300 block of Lexington Ave near Highway 33. The investigation is ongoing, and if you have any information, Madison police ask you contact them at 608-255-2345. If you wish to remain anonymous, contact Madison Area Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014. Those numbers are on your screen now, and you can also submit a tip online at p3tips.com. In more top stories this morning, we're entering another week of the government shutdown with seemingly no end in sight. Christian Benavides explains what's being impacted so far.
As the government shutdown enters its second week, both sides are digging in their heels.
They wanted to shut the government down.
It's Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate.
Democrats want to extend health care tax credits set to expire at the end of the year, while Republicans want to reopen the government before debating the issue. With tens of thousands of federal workers furloughed, the Trump administration told lawmakers some would be fired, those who are in jobs not aligned with the president's priorities.
Nobody wants to do that, but sometimes in government you have to make tough decisions.
The scary times in Washington are being felt outside the nation's capital, haunting the Halloween celebrations in Salem, Massachusetts. There's been some unexpected closures, including a national park, some public restrooms, and a witness house to the witch trials.
We just ask that when people come here, they help us keep our city magical, be respectful, pack your patience, and plan ahead.
And in San Francisco, where frustrated tourists found that Alcatraz has shut down and reopened operations a number of times.
This is our third and finally successful attempt to get out to Alcatraz.
The shutdown is also likely to eventually slow down air travel. The TSA warned of longer wait times at airports as some employees are forced to work with deferred pay. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
In a sign the shutdown is likely to last for some time, the House canceled plans to reconvene this week to allow the Senate to work on a proposal to reopen the government. America's confidence in the economy is slipping. A CBS News poll shows 59% of respondents now say the economy is getting worse, a 3% jump since last month. More than half of Americans also say the job market is bad. A majority of people surveyed are worried about the impact of artificial intelligence. 57% believe AI is bad for the economy. Meanwhile, outside AmFam Field, fans got ready to cheer on their favorite team. Our Tanisha Shaw takes you there now.
Go Brewers! Go Cubs, go!
Even though the Brewers and the Cubs are known for their rivalry, one thing that both of them can agree on is a great reception.
This is just it's a family affair, but it's also for adults as well. So it's like you can just bring anybody, even Cubs fans.
Cubs fans did end up tailgating with Brewers fans here in Milwaukee hours before first pitch Saturday, with all the essentials that you need for tailgating, like smack talk.
If they close the roof and it starts leaking like it did last time, hey, we got this.
And the Cubs fans will be sad, but we'll console them on the way home.
Food, beer.
Wisconsin people know how to do it well. have a few beers with friends, have something to eat, head into the game and cheer for our team.
And the kindness that you can only get here in the Midwest.
Of course, we're going to root against the Cubs, but at the end of the day, they're people. We go down to their games too. We want to be treated well. We'll treat them well. You know, we're all cheering for our team. So yeah, all day long.
You're on Milwaukee's home turf right now.
Yeah,
how are you feeling?
We don't worry about them.
Angels in the outfield!
Well, hopefully you didn't need any counseling on the way home.
No, I'm fine. Look, it's sports. You win some, you lose some. I did predict the Brewers were going to win, but
you were preparing yourself.
yeah, but I still think the Cubs could come back in the series. And I always say in baseball, it's better to lose big than lose by 1 run in baseball, because you know, with baseball, obviously, unless it's a deciding game. You always come back, and if you lose big, it really, you know, will motivate you to do better. So we'll see how Monday goes. So.
All right, I'm looking forward to Monday. And I know you're tracking that fire danger forecast, so what do you need to tell us?
Yeah, with all the ingredients, with the warm air, the wind, and the fact that we've been dry, there is a high fire risk, especially for southwest Wisconsin. The blue indicates moderate risk, and a few folks in the cross, the fire risk right now is pretty low. Now, as we take a look at the wind gust forecast, it's going to be out of the south, gusting up around 30 miles per hour, help bring in that warm air as well. But as we continue with the wind gust forecast, a little breezy tonight, but then winds are going to calm down a lot by the time we get to tomorrow. So as I mentioned, the 3 ingredients that helps fires the heat, the wind, and the lack of rain, all 3 are not going to be the case tomorrow. We're going to see rain tonight. It's going to be cooler, and it's not going to be as windy. So that fire risk, although it is high today, it's only going to be today, and I'll continue talking about that big swing in temperatures and the rain that's going to come with it still to come.
You're watching Weekend Mornings. Coming up in consumer news, a brand of dog treats is being recalled. We'll tell you which one right after the break.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
New this morning, we are warning pet parents about a recall for popular dog treats. Best Buy Bones, based out of Michigan, is recalling some of its Nature's Own Pet Chews Bully Bites. Authorities say the treats may be contaminated with salmonella. The virus can sicken dogs and people who handle the treats. So far, no one has reported getting sick. Now, the treats come in 16-ounce bags and have an expiration date of September 2027. They were sold in stores in Wisconsin, and the company says anyone who bought the treats should throw them away or return them to the place of purchase for a full refund. Eating even a few regular meatless meals per week can be good for your health. Dr. Rupa Shah joins News 3 Now's Kyrian Lee for this morning's health conversation.
Whether you're curious about going plant-based or just looking to make healthier choices, even small changes can go a long way. Joining me now is Dr. Rupa Shah, SSM Health Family Medicine Physician and Wellness Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So what are the health benefits of reducing meat consumption? I know it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. We know that eating a lot of red meat is not great for our health. This has been shown. It can raise cholesterol levels. It can increase our risk for heart disease, such as heart attacks and strokes. So there's been a big movement for people to reduce the amount of red meat they eat and try and be a little bit more plant forward. Also, when we focus our diet on a lot of red meat, what we're doing is we're not getting a lot of the things we should be getting, which is more fruits, more vegetables, and more fiber.
Okay, so just taking small steps to, take it out of our diet. So we need to get protein from other sources, right?
Yes. One of the things you can focus on is more plant-based sources of protein, such as beans, lentils, soy products like tofu. These can all be really good alternatives. Even nuts and seeds have some protein in them. So it's just shifting that mindset from it doesn't always have to be a meat source, or it could be leaner cuts of meat as well. Chicken, fish, turkey, things like that.
Yes, so I know it might be a hard transition for people who maybe have more red meat in their diet. So how can we ease into meatless meals?
So you don't have to go all in all at once, but an idea is even introducing maybe one meal a week that is meatless and then slowly increasing to maybe 2 and seeing what kinds of recipes you like. The other thing is you could add more vegetables to your soups, to your salads, or adding some nuts and seeds, using a tofu for stir fries. So simple little things can really make a difference also.
Okay, those are lots of good tips, but you're always dropping the gym, so where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Wellness with Dr. Shaw.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Ladies, thank you. Time now 7:42. Still ahead are your Brewers highlights. Plus, Jacob will be back with your full final forecast when we come back on Weekend Mornings. But before we head to break, we've got a birthday to celebrate. Today, Brooklyn's turning 3. Happy birthday from everybody here on Weekend Mornings. We'll be right back. The history between the Cubs and Brewers, well, it's well documented. They've played 456 times over the years, but all of those meetings were in the regular season. So I won't make you wait any longer. Here are your first ever Brewers-Cubs postseason highlights.
AmFam was electric. The Brewers had the last week off, but there was no rust on the Brewer bats. It was all gas, no breaks. 2 on, 2 out in the first. Crew already leading 3-1, but they wanted more. Bryce Perkins shoots a liner back up the middle, and you can make it 4-1 Milwaukee. But they weren't done in the first inning. They batted around. Jackson Churio, who had already doubled in the frame, comes through with the bases juiced, bring in 2 more. And if the roof would have been off today, it would have blown off by this point. Milwaukee takes a 6-1 lead after just 1 inning. And in the second, Jackson wouldn't stop. The sophomore sensation with an infield single, that drives in another run. He was 3 for 3 through 2 innings. And the only bad news that came out of today was that he came out of the game with hamstring tightness. The Brewers come out with a bang and take game 1 over the Cubs. 9-3 the final score. And now we bring in our Nash Dara, and Nash, really the only way to describe this one can be said right here on this towel. It was some Brewer magic today, and the fans were a big part of that. We talked to the players, and they said the fans played a big aspect in that.
Yeah, 2 stadiums that separate each other by about an hour and a half. Usually sees a lot of Cub fans, 50-50 they kind of mentioned, but tonight it was all Brewer fans. And you heard it. I mean, us being here, it was loud, it was electric, and it was all Brewers from the get-go.
And of course, we talk about the good stuff here, but we have to talk about Wisconsin football too. They made their trip to Ann Arbor fresh off that bye week, needing a win, but it was no easy task headed to the Big House for a big-time challenge. And early on, it looked like they might do just that. They looked as good or better on that first drive than they have all year on offense. Marching down the field and scoring, Dylan Jones caps off a 12-play, 75-yard drive, spinning past a Wolverine, and it looked like all of Bucky's problems might have been fixed in the bye week. And while it did look much improved overall, they couldn't solve it all. Michigan responds with a score of their own. Justice Haynes to the house. The Badgers trailed by just 3 points at the half, 10-7, but in the second half, Michigan ran away with it. Wisconsin gets somewhat of a moral win, but in the books, it goes down as a loss. Wisconsin falls under 500, and they're down to 0-3 in Big Ten play, 24-10 the final score. Wisconsin can't get the win in Michigan, but the Brewers get the all-important Game 1 win in the NLDS. For Nash Dara, I'm Andrew Banstra, signing off from AmFam Field for News 3 Sports.
And here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. We are going to see summer-like conditions one more day, but then we'll see those showers tonight. And the showers may continue into Monday night as well. And that's going to cause much cooler temperatures for Monday itself. So let's start with that rainfall forecast. We're not really going to see much rain today, especially in southern Wisconsin. Very sunny skies. But later in the evening, we are going to see some clouds and some showers begin rolling into areas near La Crosse. And then overnight, that rain will continue to push off to the east, bringing in that cold front along with some showers and isolated thunderstorms. Now, that rain is going to kind of take its time to move east. So areas north and to the west of Madison will have a better chance of rain tonight than areas to the south and east. And if you look closely at the change in the wind directions right here, that's the cold front. And once it rolls through, it's going to bring those cooler temperatures. Now, as we get to Monday morning, we will continue to see some showers across parts of the area. Not a ton of rain during the day on Monday, but the chance of rain will still kind of be there at any point during the day on Monday. But as we get into Monday night, we'll see the rain move back into the area. This time, the best chance of rain will be for areas to the south and east of Madison. So tonight, best chance of rain west and north. Tomorrow night, best chance of rain south and east. And then as we get towards Tuesday morning, that rain will clear out, and then we're not expecting much rain for the rest of the week. Total precipitation, it's going to be a little bit more for areas to the west and north, maybe about an inch at most, but most of the area will only pick up about a half inch of rain. Now, talking about the temperature change during all this, today we're going to have those high temperatures in the lower 80s again. And then as that cold front moves through, you can see that change in temperature. Now, for southern Wisconsin, notice tomorrow morning, actually going to see similar temperatures to what we're seeing right now, so that temperature change won't be noticeable early in the day. Will be noticeable for you folks in La Crosse, as lows will be in the 50s. But the reason it's going to be noticeable is because this is the afternoon temperature. They're not really going to change. They're going to be very steady all day. So the temperature, imagine it's like the temperatures we're seeing right now don't change throughout the entire day. That's what the forecast for tomorrow is going to bring. And as we get towards Monday night, we are going to see some cooler temperatures as lows will drop to near 50, 40s for northern Wisconsin, and we're going to continue to see those 60s in the forecast for Tuesday. And really all week we're going to have high temperatures in the 60s until we get to the weekend, where we are going to see those 70s return. Now, the highs in the 70s are going to once again be pretty easily above normal, similar to what we're seeing right now. Not quite as warm, but those warmer temperatures, they're certainly going to return. We're also not really going to see a lot of rainfall once we see that rain clear out. Again, we'll have another chance of rain Monday night, but by the time Tuesday morning rolls around, it's pretty certainly going to be dry, especially by the afternoon, with a lot of sunshine in the forecast for the rest of this week. Again, highs kind of staying in the 60s for much of the work week. By the time we get towards the end of the week, though, in the weekend, we will see those 70s return, but still a lot cooler compared to what we're seeing right now. So the moral of the 10-day forecast is the fact that it's going to finally feel like it's supposed to this time of the year. Those 60s, that's the normal high. It's not like we're going to be below normal. It's just we're so above normal right now that it is certainly going to feel like it's very cold.
Wisconsinites above average.
Yeah, we usually see a few temperature swings like this around this time of the year, and we may see another one by the end of the 10-day forecast as we go from the 70s back to the 60s.
Yikes. Well, I know you'll be tracking it and keeping us updated. Thank you, Jacob. Now we're going to hear from the For the Record host, Ellie LaLiberte, with a sneak peek of what's to come.
Coming up on For the Record, after a year of turmoil, Madison has a new city clerk. How she says transparency will be at the forefront of her role. And Missy Hughes enters the race for governor as the Democratic primary field only continues to grow. How she says she's cutting through the noise. That's ahead for this morning on For the Record at 10:30. You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. You know we couldn't let you leave without some morning motivation, and Jacob chose the quote this morning from Fred Rogers.
The toughest thing is to love somebody who has done something mean to you, especially when that somebody is yourself. Look inside yourself and find that loving part of you. And the quote actually continues to say, take good care of that part because it helps you love your neighbor. And I picked this quote, because my wife loves this quote. But
Shout out to Emily.
Yeah, but I always feel like whenever someone, talks about the negativity in their life, they always focus on other people being negative to you. But you can be negative to yourself a lot. And many times it's not very necessary. So if you just, everyone makes mistakes, not everyone's perfect. So just love yourself a little bit more. Don't be too harsh on yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think it's very important for everyone to remember that.
Yes, and we're sending you off, and we want to remind you to go with grace and love yourself. Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Up next is CBS Sunday Morning, followed by Face the Nation and For the Record. Our next newscast is coming up at 5:30. As always, find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.